Sorry, is my husband singing Frozen? There you go.
Your birth. Our birth. Is it your birth or our birth?
Definitely my birth.
Sorry, yeah.
What in the world?
No.
Maintenance sex.
Yeah.
Nova was in the little bed. We kind of gave each other the eye, and then I went, but babe, she's there. I was like, isn't she gonna sing?
Hey, it's Dan and Charlie here, and this is the Young Cubs Parenting Podcast. We're parents of 2 little boys, figuring it out as we go, usually somewhere between the school run and the tube to work.
We're not experts by any means. We're just a couple of parents doing our best on Struggle Street, but we have loved every minute of it, and we want to get better at it. So we'll be talking to some good friends about parenting, faith, life, and the culture we're raising our kids in.
In every episode, we're going to be having honest conversations with people who've walked this path before or are walking it right now, sharing real stories, honest reflections, and the kind of wisdom you only get from doing the parenting thing day in and day out.
So whether you're in the chaos, the calm, or somewhere in between, join us on the journey. Subscribe to the Young Cubs channels, and remember, no perfect parents allowed.
Hey guys, and welcome to our very first episode of Young Cubs Parenting Podcast. My name is Charlie, this is my husband Dan, and we are very excited because we are kicking off today with a powerhouse couple. They are creative, they're innovative, they're talented, they're joy-filled. It is Marcel and Fleur.
Hi.
Guys, thank you so much for
Hi, guys.
coming on
Thanks for
today.
having us.
Excited for this conversation. Fleur, for those that don't know you, you obviously shot to fame when you became one of the finalists on X Factor, and I remember watching that at home with my parents.
You do.
Yeah, I remember that. And then obviously you had that top hit single Sax with the incredible dancing.
Yes.
Today you're one of the hosts on the Hits Radio Breakfast Show and on Strictly It Takes Two, and we're also celebrating you today because you're about to take your debut on the West End
Just
as
like that.
Tina.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't know,
Just
is
like
that a
that.
move in the
Yeah.
Tina Turner show?
Yeah, it's close.
I'm trying to think of my the songs. What do I know? Oh my gosh, I'm having my black. Oh, it's simply the best.
Yes.
Okay, I got. What's another one? What's your favourite one, babes?
I need to come to the show and learn.
Yes,
learn stuff.
and learn.
What's love got to do? That's another one.
Got to do with it.
Yeah, like,
I'll be like-
okay. What's going to be your favourite one to perform?
I have no idea yet. I'm
Okay.
still literally just getting into rehearsal, so it's early days.
I just know she does a lot of head flicks. I
There's
don't
a
want to
lot
mess up
of-
my
there's a
hair,
lot
but
of
she does a
movement.
lot of head flicks.
There's a lot of flicking
Yeah.
of everything, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
a lot of energy.
That's true. That's true.
We're so
that's
happy
true.
for you.
Thank you.
Marcel, you are a visionary creative director. You're gifted in storytelling, in innovation, in strategy. But I think for me, I've known you for years now, and I think you've always been a role model in the creative world. The way you are ahead, you're just in your own world, and you design stuff, create stuff which no one's seen, and I've never seen it. I'm like, that's out there. And then 3 years later, everyone's rocking it, everyone's trying it, and I love that you're in that space of like trend setting rather than trend following. I think, remain in my trend following space, but I admire people like you that just take ground. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Man, you too kind, man. You too
Absolutely.
kind. I need to come here every day.
Yeah, exactly. Get a little energy boost.
Yeah, I need to come here every day. I want to hear it more. Oh my God. Nah.
So today's episode is
Yeah.
it's called From Partners into Parents, and like we've known you guys for years now. In fact, we knew you when you were dating. I got to take your wedding in Morocco, which was a
Yes.
beautiful day. Like I think your friends and your family, the people that surround you, are just amazing people who love you. And I think it's always important, not just the wedding service, but who's there. And then now you're parents, and you've got baby
Yes.
Nova, who is 1. And I mean, you guys have just created beautiful stuff on TikTok. When I say beautiful, you've just taken the everyday, ordinary parenting life, and you've just brought hilarious moments into it. And I think, again, you guys are creating in a new space, and I want to hear more about it. But first, we've got a little quickfire round just to sort of see how your parenting sort of is getting on.
So the first thing, okay, guys, you can't think too much about it. It's the quickfire parenting round.
Let's go, let's
Here
go, let's
we
go.
go.
I'm excited.
What is the weirdest thing you've Googled at 3 a.m. since having Nova?
Where did we begin?
The colour of a poo.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's a normal poo look like for a baby of 2 months old? or
We've
something?
all done it.
Defo Googled poo. That's the weirdest
That was
thing.
a good quick answer. Because we've all done that.
Yeah.
What's the most used phrase in your house right now?
No.
Definitely. For
No,
sure.
Nova. No.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. When she's trying to touch something she shouldn't
Bye-bye.
touch.
No.
Cute.
Bye-bye.
Well, that leads me on to my next one. Who's better at the baby talk?
Me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, give me your best one, Fleur. Was that weird?
Nova, Baba. No. say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Put it down. Walk away.
Hey, so good. You could be like kids presenter.
You could, yeah.
You actually could.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest place you've changed a nappy?
Oh, back of the car.
Back of the car on the train.
Did the
Oh,
train?
that's quite daring.
Yeah.
Was that like
Yeah,
a
I
number
did- I
one
did
or
the back of
two?
the car.
That was number 2.
Was
Number
it?
two, yeah.
Daring, okay.
That's
Back-
the
back of-
weirdest, right?
For me, anyway. I
Yeah,
did the back of the car. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done back of the car. For sure.
If you could outsource one parenting task forever, what would it be?
Nappies?
No, nap is easy. I think it's the early mornings.
Oh, waking up.
Yeah.
That's better.
Nappy,
Yeah.
that's light work.
Yeah, wake up call. Wake up
Okay.
call.
Did
is
the early
better.
morning.
Is
That's
she a good
definitely.
sleeper?
Yeah, she's good.
She's decent,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But she
like-
doesn't want to wake up too late, does she?
Yeah, I mean,
6 a.m.
And
so
that
that's
doesn't-
not bad. Listen, I'll
That
take
doesn't
that.
go, guys, because we've got a 5:30 every morning.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
3-year-old Nico, he gets
Doesn't
up at
end.
5:30.
And who gets up with him?
Listen, a study came out recently that said women need more sleep than men.
I saw
don't know
that
if you know
study
that,
too.
but it actually came out very recently.
I've
And
referenced
that's what I
that
go
many
with.
times. Yeah.
So
That's
go
the
to bed
studies.
earlier. You could go to bed earlier and still get
Dan goes to bed at like 9 p.m.
because I'm getting up at 5, right?
every
Yeah,
single
makes
night,
sense.
and I just anyway. This is about you guys, right? What's one thing from your pre-kid life you don't miss?
Don't miss.
Yeah.
I think going out and partying and feeling rough the next day. Don't miss that. I actually do not miss that. I actually would rather, even if I'm just at home staying
Yeah.
up late and waking up early with Nova, I'd rather do that, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say probably the same. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't go out much anymore, but I can. Wow. No,
Okay,
yeah.
Marcel, for you, what do you miss? What's
What do I miss?
Yeah, what's one thing pre-kid that you do miss?
Ooh, I think it's the freedom, I would say. Like, just you waking up and just going whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. You know, it's just like, okay, you know, I'm out. Like, I just want to go holiday. Okay, let's take a backpack and
Okay.
rock.
Yeah, the ease of being able to
Yes.
just do anything.
Yeah.
Spontaneous planning.
Yes,
Yeah.
spontaneous planning, I would
Can't
say.
do that with a kid.
Yeah,
That's what I
Yeah.
was going to ask. If you had a day, 0 responsibilities, what would you do?
Yeah, we just probably just go somewhere,
Wake up,
right?
yeah, hit the gym, go
Just
out
go.
holiday, or just book a
Yeah.
flight. We
Book a
used to do
flight.
that a lot. We just used to just like, oh, we want to go out like next weekend and just go. Now you
Yeah.
can't. You gotta,
Yeah.
Can't do that.
you gotta think about everything. you know.
Yeah.
I think I would say it's like probably something you miss. It's like it's missing but not missing at the same time. It's like I would say your freedom and you lose it. And I think like when you have a kid, a part of you dies and a new part's
Yeah,
true.
a new part is born.
born.
Yeah.
So it's just that it's part of the process. It's that
Yeah.
give and take. But yeah.
We used to
Yeah.
love like spontaneous hangs. You know, someone just texting, hey, like, you know, the sun's out, do you want to go to the park? And we're like, yeah,
That's
see
it.
you in a
Yeah,
minute.
come on.
Yeah.
Now it's like someone's like, do you want to go to the park? We're like, yeah, let's 6 months in advance. We'll put it in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
diary.
yeah. Give me some warning. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
So when it comes to your parenting journey, what's been your happiest moment so far, and what's been your hardest moment?
Ooh, that's so interesting. Happiest moment. There's been so many happy moments. I mean, obviously the moment that we laid eyes on Nova,
that was beautiful
that's got to be the happiest moment.
for sure.
Yeah, I gave birth at home.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm always so impressed.
We were like behind
Like,
the
in a
sofa.
pool or behind?
There was a pool at some point that was
Okay.
used, but as soon as I got out the pool, I wasn't going back in the pool. I couldn't
Oh,
move.
most respect. So if you're at home, does that mean like you have no drugs or anything?
No,
Wow.
no drugs. Gas and air
I
was
was
brought
literally
in.
like, give me everything, everything, wasn't I? I was like, right from the even like a little pang. I was
Early,
like, oh,
early,
everything.
like,
Yeah.
give me everything.
But
Yeah.
what was really funny is at the end my epidural wore off and they wouldn't give me any more. And then he got stuck and they still wouldn't give it to me.
Ooh.
Yeah. So then I had to.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Then you felt the pain.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
That
that's
was so nice at home.
It was
it quite
lovely.
peaceful?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very peaceful.
yeah. I mean, I was the only one making any noise,
I mean, I was there mentally supporting. You know what I mean?
and then you were there physically at the
I
end.
suffered because you scratched my face. You done a lot of
Oh,
things.
wow.
The way I could like relieve the pain was
Yeah,
being
yeah,
physical with
yeah,
him, so he got
I
everything.
still have the mark in my hand. You know what I'm saying?
So you stayed close on the whole thing watching?
I mean,
Yeah.
I was there. We did it together. We just like we held hand, the breathing. We did the whole
We
process.
did everything.
And when Nova was born, I literally caught her in my
Yeah.
hand. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was magical.
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that
it
was the
was-
happiest
yeah.
moment, I think. The hardest moment, was probably
First week, no,
the first week was hard. That was
Yes.
rough.
I would say first week.
That was really hard.
Yeah,
just not knowing what to do.
What to do? You just get this new thing and like this thing, like what fragile, you don't know, and if they're sleeping and they go to bed and you worry that are they still breathing
and when they're breathing, is their breathing right?
Yeah.
It's meant to sound like that. Or
I feel like you go
breastfeeding.
Yes.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was so tough.
Yes.
And also as a father, it's like hard because you try to help and you can't do much, but at the same time you try to be there, but it's like, how much can I do? And then it's just it's emotional as well. I think it happens because it's a build up of the whole process. Because we're together and then like watching movies and everything. Like I think you have this expectation, like you expect this thing to come and the excitement, and then it happened. Like, okay, it's here now. Like what's next? And I think you don't get to emotionally process everything, especially for me because my family was here.
Yeah.
So I think it took me like probably 6-7 months to kind of realize what happened, because I was just really like
there would be times I'd go,
we've had a baby.
Look, that's our baby. Babe, do you understand that's our baby? And he'd be like, huh? Like he was kind of in a daze for like ages.
So what were those preconceptions for you guys, and then what has been kind of the reality? Because I think that's always a real stark contrast, right? Like you have these ideas. I mean, even even like labour, I had heard horror stories.
Yeah.
And then
they were true.
Yeah.
They were all true.
But for some reason you go in thinking, but it'll be fine. Like, I don't know, you have this preconception that it'll be fine for me. And then you have a baby and you think, oh, I know it's hard, but it's a new level, right? And what were the preconceptions for you guys? And then what's been kind of, I guess,
there's been preconceptions both positive and negative. So like the negatives were when people were saying, well, good luck, sleep now, because you're never going to, like the amount of people that said that to us, well, say goodbye to your life, like all this. It was really negative. So we believed that was going to be the reality.
Right.
And yes, of course, you sacrifice a lot. But actually, it's been nowhere near as horrific as people described it, to be honest.
I think it's everybody's experience. Obviously, like we always approach things, like in our life anyway, in everything we do, like we kind of put our head down and just get on with it. Like, for me, it's like life's a journey. You go through it, and whatever they throw at you, just got to deal with it. There's nothing you can do. And if our parents did it, I had a mother like that had 3 kids, no father. Africa did all of that stuff, so I don't have an excuse, man. For me, it's like I always looked at it as like, doesn't matter what it throws, and I'm like, okay, this is just another step in our journey. And obviously, like I didn't know like the whole process, so seeing her giving birth even gave me even more respect again for my mother, for her, like, because I'm like, wow, women are powerful, because this is something that I've never experienced before. But was I prepared for it? Mentally, yes. I always say prepare for the worst, but still praying for the best. But the whole journey was interesting. But it's just
that was
we got
kind
on
of,
with it.
I guess, a preconception that was negative.
Yes,
a preconception that was probably more positive than was actually what it was in reality. Was a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can have it all. Like you can be the parent and you can work and you can do it and you can do that.
Your life doesn't need to change because you got a baby.
It's like you can, but you can't have it all of the time. Like it's kind of like, I just see it as like different percentages. So there's days where I'm like, I would say I'm an amazing mum and I'm like 100% mum and I'm not doing anything else and I'm with Nova and I'm giving everything to her. Then there's days where I'm like 100% at work and I haven't seen her since the morning, and then I get back home just after bedtime and I haven't seen her. And then there's days where it's like, maybe I'm with her in the morning and then I miss bedtime. And it's like, but there's always something that you're sacrificing. So when people do say that you can have it all, they kind of say it flippantly almost, like, you can do it all, it's fine. And it's like, well, actually I'm at work and I'm gutted that I'm missing my baby, and then I'm with my baby and gutted I'm not doing something else.
Let's unpack that a bit more, because you guys live full-on lives. You both work full-time. I mean, we've just listed off everything that you guys are doing. You're here today, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people watching will be millennials, and you see more millennials doing that kind of both working full-time or living, just full lives and everything. And for a lot of people, the juggle is huge. Like, I work full-time, 2 kids. Dan travels a lot in his job as well. I travel quite a lot, and it's massive, and at times it can feel really overwhelming. And I think the top question I always get asked is like, how do you juggle it all? And it's kind of like, it's a bit of a tricky answer, that one. But what would you say? Like, how do you guys the other fight we have is whose work is the priority, don't we?
Well,
That's a
we
good
always
one.
try and do it 50-50. Like, I never want you to think mine's more important than yours.
But this is the kind of stuff that comes up when you both working full time. It's
Yeah,
like,
100%, yeah.
you know, if we both like, oh, pick up, but we've both got a meeting at the same time, it's like, you know, then we've got to pick who is the one that goes and says, I can't do this meeting. Yeah, talk us through like juggling a full
That's
life
hard.
with a baby.
It's the village. Got
Yeah.
call on the village.
Yeah, you do.
They always say it takes a village to raise a child.
True.
That statement could not be more true, because we couldn't do what we do without our family, without our unit around us.
When it comes to like raising kids with the village, I love that. And so we get all of our parents involved, uncles, aunties,
Everyone,
friends.
yeah.
We're so grateful. And I think one thing we had to learn is don't mind asking for help, like when you need it. You know, a lot of people are in your world and they love you and they want to help you. So actually not trying to do it all by yourself, but inviting people in, I think, is key. But I think, you know, one of the things that we found is that our parents have different parenting techniques and different principles and values. And, you know, we both had to really like communicate and speak about this to make sure like we're raising our kids up on the same page. Otherwise, when Nox and Nika with me, they're going to be taught one thing, when they're with Charlie, something else. How have you guys dealt with different parenting techniques and principles and values that have been passed down from your parents?
We've always said, haven't we, that even before we had Nova, that we always have to be a unit, because we know what it's like, how you can kind of manipulate parents. Like, my parents split up when I was like 15, and I definitely knew what I could get away with my dad versus my mum. But when they were together, they were solid and they were a unit, and you couldn't go to mum and try and do one thing and dad and do another. And so that's been one rule that we've stuck to. You know, if I say something to Nova, that's what's happening. If dad says something to Nova, that's what's happening. But what are we doing differently to our parents?
I mean, so many things.
Yeah, quite a few things.
Listen, I love my mum, I love your mum, love our parents, them. But times have changed, things are different.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to, there's no manual to be a parent, and also you have to learn by yourself, do your own mistakes and learn from them and try to be a better parent. And also what our parents taught is so different. Communication is different, especially culturally.
Yeah.
Like, we grew up in such a different environment. I think our parents was more like, you just do, you don't ask questions, no explanation. And you just follow, and they had to be tough, which is, I understand, I respect that. And I think it's that balance. You got to be tough also for the kids, because you don't also want, you want to install that grit in them, and resilient. And it's that balance, like, how do I make my kid be resilient when they're in this environment where everything is given? It's easy. Where us, we didn't have most of the stuff they had. So I think it's taking that, and also, like, there's so many ways, because, like, I think there's a misconception in terms of, like, culturally, like, when you grow up as an African kid, what you should do and how you should behave, and so many things. So all those stuff I'm stripping down with her, like, we talk about it, and it's like, okay, how do we raise Nova to become a better version of ourselves in so many ways?
Yeah.
Within that, not losing herself and being herself also in this environment that's completely different to the one that we came from. So it's that, it's a process, like peeling an onion. You just discover, and you're discovering yourself. And for me, I think I was saying to having Nova is therapy, It's a crazy therapy, because I'm discovering myself in so many things, because not growing up with a father, and it's like, like, I've never knew how it felt to, I don't know, just even going to swimming. I go with Nova swimming on Tuesday. I've never experienced that, because my mom had to go and work and provide, and she was showing me love in her own way. The way that she could do was providing for me, because she didn't have a choice. She just had to go and provide for us. So I think the parenting techniques are so different. But we're learning, we take, I think, like, you have to take the good, the bad, and just pick it up and just, okay, this is good, I can take that.
We'll take that, we'll leave that.
Because to this day, we still talk to our parents and teaching our parents things.
Yeah.
Right.
So, because I have conversations with my parents where I'm teaching her things that she doesn't understand.
Right.
Those stuff are surpassed her. So I'm like, okay, but there's also values that our parents have that's important to, give to our child, and
I
think there's a lot of unlearning and learning, whether it's grandparents, parents, and each other. I think we've learned a lot about each other since becoming parents, and I think they say, like, you do things which are out of character when you're going through a season of blast. Bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired. So when you're going through one of those, high chance of you doing something that you wouldn't normally do, say something that you wouldn't normally say. I mean, other than bored, because I don't think we've ever been bored having kids. Lonely, yeah, maybe not lonely, but we're definitely angry at times, definitely stressed and definitely tired. So the last three. How have you guys found being like parents and your relationship like together? Do you feel like you've grown stronger together? How has it impacted like your intimacy, your emotional connection, your friendship?
I think we've definitely been closer.
You sure?
You said that so quick.
Is that
as
really?
well.
What kind of relationship are you in? I think we've definitely become closer. For sure. I mean, just going through labour with the person you love and you being right there with me in the most vulnerable state I've ever been in.
Yeah,
You even said you were
I've never
like,
seen you like that. I think, obviously, I've been together for quite a while, and I always seen you strong, you know, head on. You always push through, but that time, boy, Jesus.
He was like, I've never seen
It was,
you.
I've never seen
It's
her
quite
like that.
something,
So
guys. It's quite
vulnerable and
something.
expressive, but he was also like very empowering.
Yeah.
You know, he made me respect it even more.
Yeah.
And understand like a bit more, even though I'm never gonna be in her shoes. And it's one of them. I think as a father, you know, you were like, oh, I wish I could take this pain away from you, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's like one of them. You see somebody that you love so much and in such a pain, but there's nothing you can do. Just but be there, present. But you can't take the load.
Yeah.
And I think all of that. But in terms of like, I would say, friendship and everything. Now we speak more because now you gotta, you know, in your way you have to call up and find out what's Novi's doing, and there's so much to it. And I think it just creates as we said before, you know, it's like it's a rebirth.
Yeah.
You know, your relationship just kind of
That's good.
just, you know, takes another step. I mean, for some people it goes one way, but you know, it just depends what kind of parent you want to be in, you know. And I think there's a lot of stuff that dies along the way, but there's a lot also new flowers.
Yeah.
It's funny because one thing that I would say has emerged since we've become parents is you used to say before we had Nova, you used to say that, oh, Fleur, she's just in Disneyland. Like in her head, she lives in Disney. Because he would say I'm always like a big kid.
Yeah.
But actually, since we've had Nova, I've seen that come out in you. So it's
that's
like
nice.
we've been able to connect with that now.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been trying to get you to sing Disney with me for years. And now he's up there going, let it go.
We want to hear it.
With Nova. And I'm like, sorry, is my husband singing Frozen? I'm like, what has happened in the world?
It does change you, doesn't it?
It's changed you so much.
As I said, for me, it's therapy. You know, it's so much. I feel like it's a door that's been closed that you don't even realize. That's just when you have this beautiful thing, creature. It just opens up, you know, doors and just makes you discover so many things about yourself. And I think it makes you younger again. And I just feel, I feel there's that side of.
I mean, you're definitely tired, but
tired for sure.
You do feel like reconnected with your childhood when you have a baby. Yeah.
Has the tiredness like impacted like sex and intimacy? So like one of the episodes that we're going to cover later on is like sex, and we'll probably get into it. But just like talking from partners into parents. When your birth. I mean, our birth. Is it your birth or our birth?
Definitely.
Sorry,
What's in the world?
No, but just
it's an hour. Hours.
Our birth.
It felt weird when I said it. Your birth.
It's because he was videographing it.
No, I did. Yeah, I put my phone in the corner, set up to record, so I could get knocks coming out. But it was a really bad low down angle, and there was so much blood. She tore like
All right.
3. What was it?
What?
Like, what did they say?
I don't know.
And then they pulled him out with a suction thing.
The Von Twos.
So he literally looked like alien, like literally looked like a little alien, and like.
And it's all on camera.
Nothing's cute about that video.
It is the most harrowing video you've ever. No, like. Honestly, I couldn't watch it for about 6 months because anytime I even went to just like, because the still on my phone was just like this red like bundle of mess on me.
Oh my goodness.
And I couldn't even, every time I went to watch it, I'd like have heart palpitations and stuff, but definitely not our birth, even though
anyway, so the point I was actually going to make though is because the tearing was so bad and like you didn't feel comfortable.
I don't feel like you can shift this very well.
Well, no, this is what I was going to say. I was saying like it impacted our sex life, didn't it?
It did.
If I'm just being honest, which was fine. Like we've just had a baby, you know, not in a hurry.
No. No.
But there was a part of it when, you know, we were actually like, we wanted to get back intimate, and you know, probably Knox was like, you know, 6 months old at least, and we're like trying to, you know, talk about our sex life. And at the time I felt like it was a bit hard. And recently I've seen this term on TikTok called maintenance sex. Have you heard of that?
Maintenance
sex.
Yeah.
No. What's this?
So it's apparently helps you maintain health in your relationship.
Okay.
And the idea is that there's never going to be a time when you both like really want to have it. You know what I mean? Like one of you's going to be tired, one of you's going to be whatever. So maintenance sex is saying, look, we are going to commit to like having sex regularly or being intimate. It doesn't need to be like penetrative sex, where it could just be intimate, and we're going to commit to that because we know that's going to mean that we're closer, we're healthier, which means we're going to parent better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny for us? So I think for the first like month or two, I mean, my brain wasn't even going. I remember that, like, a health visitor came around and went, so we need to talk about contraception. I went, I said, babes, we're not even on that train. And she went, yeah, we've heard people say this before and they come back pregnant. And I went, no. I said, trust me, babes, we're not even talking about
I remember that chat.
Yeah. I was like laughing, going, what do you think this is? Like, that's the last thing on my mind. But then after like the initial couple of months, I remember there was one time we were at home, and Nova was in the little bed, like the next to me crib. And we were like, we kind of gave each other the eye. And then I went, but babe, she's there. I was like, isn't she going to see? Like, what is going on? And we've had several moments like that where she's been like in the room. And then we'll look at each other and then I'll go, but we can't because but then we'll end up like kind of, there was one time we literally hid behind a wall and she was,
I love that.
She was in this like little playpen thing, like this little chair with stuff.
Hid behind a wall.
But the thing is, it's one of those toys that like makes sounds as well. So she's like touching it, it's going 1, 2. We're there in the corner like 1, 2.
I don't know how you kept going through that.
It was so funny.
My mind would have gone.
But it was hilarious because I was like, I could see her head at one point. I was like, we need to readjust because I can't. So that's been quite funny because
it's been hilarious. That to be
I'm
fair.
like, how do we do this with her there? Like this
but
is
it's patience though. I think as you know, like her body's changed so much. She's gone through so much. I think you have to just learn to be patient. You know, I just said to her, listen, it's in your own time.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready. And I think it's that understanding, you know, of just like not being selfish. And I get it. It's like, but you just have to, you know, dig deep and
we had an honest conversation, to be fair. Like I said, I think after like 2 months, I just said to him, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not really in that mode right now. So like, are you feeling okay? Are you okay to like hold out a little bit?
Yeah.
And he was like, and like we're in the trenches.
To be honest, my mind wasn't even, to be honest, I was just, my mind wasn't there like that. I just kind of felt like, you know, you going, I really had this thing that was like, okay, you're going through it. You know, I'm just here for you guys rather than like, oh, you know. And I think obviously, sex is nice, but you kind of can't be that selfish to be, you know what I mean? There's bigger...
I love that you talked about it.
It's discipline. You know, it's like also part of who you are as a person. Like I have, you know, I like to believe that, you know, I have a bit of discipline. So I'm just like things I do. So it's kind of just that process of, you know, you can hold out. It's fine, man. You don't have to. You know what I mean? It's just,
I mean, if you're a boxer, I know loads of boxers that you know leading up to the fight. Sports players, you know, every other thing they're like, it's fine to like, you know, not because they're so focused on the goal.
You have to.
But like, you know, at the end of the day, like, is there a greater goal than raising a kid and like looking after your partner?
Exactly.
So I like that way you
I
see
think,
that.
we had that conversation, and then I said to listen, it's fine. Whenever you're ready, and then whenever you feel comfortable, whenever your body allows you. I'll be fine, and I appreciate it. And I said I appreciate you coming and having that conversation, you know, because obviously, I mean,
he said he was like, as if you're thinking about me in this time.
And I said, you don't have to think about me. That was my response, and I said, just you take your time, you know. I'll be ready, you know.
That's great.
Yeah. And you were ready.
Yes. Yes.
He was ready.
Yes.
He was like, okay.
There's some really funny skits where, like, you know, the man reels like takes, you know, they hear the trousers come down. Straight away.
I went to the gym. I did the whole thing. Oil, you know.
Fleur, you have just reminded me the other thing that the health visitor, I remember on that same conversation when they start trying to talk to you about contraception, you're like, not needed. Is the whole like, and just so you know, it's a myth that you can't get pregnant when you're breastfeeding. And it's just made me think about obviously you did an amazing campaign, breastfeeding campaign on the tube.
Yes, on
Other
the
places.
tube. Breastfeeding mamas in the carriage.
Yes, talk to us about that, because I feel like that's an amazing topic when we're talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I find it really hard breastfeeding in public to begin with. We always have a bit of a joke, you know, that Dan, you never know where to look, do you, sometimes?
What, if someone's breastfeeding for me? Yeah, I know where to look.
And let me just tell you
where.
No, I'll tell you what it is, sorry.
Like this, hi.
No, what I meant is, he gets so in his head about it that he stares them out in their face so much
Oh
that I'm
my
like...
gosh.
Doesn't realise.
Making me out some creep.
No, he overcompensates, and I'm like,
Yes.
you don't need to overcompensate that much. So you know how normally you're talking to someone, you kind of like, you glance away. He's like...
Babe, oh, come on.
Just try not to look
Sorry that he's
anywhere.
not looking anywhere. I'm always like, babe, it's not... You don't need to...
Anyway, I'm all for the campaign. I think it's a good thing that people are breastfeeding in places when they're like not just like having to go into substitute.
I think, to be honest, I naively thought that breastfeeding was going to come really easily to me, and I was more focused on like the birth. While I was pregnant, I was like, okay, labour, like it's going to be this. Like, I was more focused on that. Didn't even think for a second that I would struggle with breastfeeding. Okay. And then when I initially started, my milk didn't come in early enough. It took a while. And so Nova was really hungry in the first like week or so. So we started then topping her up with formula. So I was breastfeeding and like co-feeding with formula. And then I was so determined, I think, after that initial start to breastfeed her. Like I was on a mission. I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I was really doing everything. I was pumping. I was setting alarms to pump and like in the middle of the night so that my milk was coming in and it was activated. And then I was like feeding her constantly. And we were in a rhythm, weren't we? We were like on a flow. Like we'd get on a plane, boom. She was on the boob. It was like, I used to say, the power of the boob, because any situation, like if we were in a restaurant, she got fussy, boom, on the boob. About to take off on a flight, boom. Like it was amazing, and we were just in a rhythm. And I think because I'd struggled with it so much in the beginning, I was so proud of it. Like I was even more proud that I could feed her. I was like, this is amazing, and I was so grateful that I even got the opportunity to do it. Yeah. That I then understood the fight, you know, for women to feel free to feed their babies anywhere and everywhere, because actually, it's something that we should all have the right to do, and without any judgment. And it was like, you know, if anyone's going to eat a sandwich on the train, they can eat a sandwich on the train. If I need to feed my baby on the train, I should be able to do that. Yeah. And so I was like, I actually want to shout about this. And I never thought that it was something that I would feel as strongly about as I did. But I think because I knew how much pain it would take to like pump, you'd be pumping sometimes in the start for half an hour, and you get that and you'd be like, really? I remember pouring it so carefully into a bottle.
In the bags, and you need about 3 of them into the bag,
You know, so it was like, it was such a privilege, I realised, to be able to breastfeed, and not every woman gets that opportunity. So the fact that I did, I was just, happy to fly the flag. Yeah, it was amazing.
I love that, and I love that both of you are individuals who like aren't afraid to say what needs to be said sometimes and do what needs to be done. I think one thing that I've, I guess, seen in both of you is that your faith has played a part in your life. Final question would just be around how do you see your faith working out in your parenthood?
Oh, in a big way, I think.
Yeah, I think
just for like a moral compass.
It's the foundation to everything, you know. And I think it's important. It's the forefront. It's the base of everything that we do, who we are.
We've prayed with Nova from the start. Like 100%. Even during my labour, my mother and my grandmother were upstairs in the room praying consistently throughout the labour. And as soon as they heard Nova cry, they came down and we all prayed with her. Like her week birthday, we all gathered round, we read the Bible, we prayed for her, laid a Bible underneath her pillow in her little bed. It's just always been the foundation.
Yeah, I think you want to raise a good person. You know, I think moral compass, values, all that come from like God and
And also teaching her not to be afraid.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you so much, guys. It's been such a blessing to have you. And I know this will bless so many people. You're doing amazing things. And yes, can't wait to see you soon as Tina Turner.
And thank you for having us, guys.
you,
I think you guys
yeah.
do an amazing job, and we appreciate you so much. And
We do.
Thank you for
I mean,
always,
Dan, you literally married us.
Yes, you did.
In Morocco.
Yeah,
You blessed our union.
And
You were
Charlie,
there.
you saw Fleur naked, so...
You saw me naked in the hammam.
Did I?
Yeah, in Morocco.
When did I see you
So
naked?
you've erased that memory. Probably
see
for the
you
best.
naked?
No.
Why were you naked?
You're like, what? We were getting a little scrub down in the hammam bath.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
Love that. Well, on that note.
On that note.
For anybody who wants to follow you
Yes.
guys on social media, especially some of the parenting videos you'll be putting out, how can they follow you?
Oh, yes. I'm at Fleur East, Fleur East.
I got hacked, so I don't really have an Instagram.
Yeah, he's
anymore.
got
I just created a new one. So there's not much in there. But you
You'll
just follow
find him.
Fleur. Yeah.
I'll tag him.
Yeah, tag me. Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Thanks
Thanks,
so much,
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
So grateful.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
That's it for today's episode, From Partners into Parents. And wherever you are, whatever stage of life, I hope it's been encouragement and inspiration to you. If it has been, don't forget to subscribe. We've got many more episodes coming your way. And also, if there's any parents that you know that this might just encourage them not to give up, but just to keep going, then share this with them, because we really hope it's a blessing. Thanks for joining today. Lots of love. Take care.